When a narcissist sees that you've become too strong for them to control, they'll often resort to one final, deeply manipulative tactic. Dr. Ramani discovered something profoundly unsettling about narcissists that many people never realize until it's too late. When they sense they're losing their psychological grip on you, they don't simply walk away. Instead, they deploy one last devastating strategy, an emotional ambush designed to undo years of healing in just a short time. If you don't recognize this manipulation for what it is, you could easily fall into their trap all over again. To understand this final trick, you must first grasp the psychological warfare that precedes it. Dr. Ramani explained that the narcissist's deepest fear isn't abandonment or rejection. It's the moment when their former target becomes emotionally and psychologically stronger than they are. According to her analysis of the narcissistic psyche, such individuals project their own insecurities and darkness onto others in order to maintain a fragile illusion of superiority. But once you begin healing, once you establish boundaries, stop people-pleasing, and refuse to participate in their toxic games, a dramatic shift occurs in their internal world. Dr. Ramani referred to this as the power inversion crisis, the exact moment when a narcissist realizes they are losing the psychological upper hand. This realization sends them spiraling into chaos. Narcissists aren't driven by genuine love or connection. They are fueled by the need to control and dominate. They feed off your emotional energy, your attention, your validation, and your compassion. Dr. Ramani noted that narcissists operate from what she calls an inflated ego, a psychological defense that forces them to constantly seek external proof of their worth to avoid facing their inner emptiness. When you were confused, needy, or craving their approval, you served their purpose perfectly. You provided the validation that kept their fragile sense of self intact. But the moment you begin standing confidently in your own power, the moment you stop seeking their validation and start trusting yourself, you become an existential threat to their entire identity. That's when they unleash the weapon Dr. Ramani warned about, what she calls psychological projection warfare. When a narcissist senses they can no longer control you through love bombing, guilt, or gaslighting, they escalate. They attack your newfound strength itself, twisting it into a weakness. Remember how they once criticized your flaws or insecurities? Now they'll target your strengths. Dr. Ramani explained that they do this because they recognize that your strength is the very thing preventing them from regaining control. You might hear them say things like, "You've really changed and not for the better," or "You used to be so caring, now you're just cold." They'll tell you that your confidence has turned into arrogance, that your assertiveness is aggression, and that your independence is selfishness. This tactic, according to Dr. Ramani, is not random cruelty. It's deliberate. She called it strength shaming, a psychological reversal meant to make you feel ashamed of the qualities that helped you heal. If you've learned to say no, they'll accuse you of being uncaring. If you've found your voice, they'll claim you're argumentative. If you've developed confidence, they'll insist you've become full of yourself. This emotional inversion is designed to erode your progress by making you doubt your own growth. But the narcissist's strategy doesn't stop there. When strength shaming fails to reel you back in, Dr. Ramani observed that narcissists often move to a more insidious tactic she referred to as nostalgic manipulation. They begin reminiscing about the old you, the version of you that was easier to control. You'll hear them say things like, Remember how happy you used to be before you got so distant? Or you were so much more fun before you started focusing on yourself? They'll claim they miss the person you used to be, but what they really miss is your compliance. Dr. Ramani described this behavior as a form of psychological time travel, a regression tactic intended to pull you back into the patterns that once kept you under their control. They're not longing for the real you. They're yearning for the version of you that put their needs before your own. And if you're not vigilant, you might start missing that version too, confusing your old people-pleasing tendencies with happiness or connection. When nostalgic manipulation fails to dismantle your strength, the narcissist resorts to their most dangerous weapon, what Dr. Ramani called manufactured vulnerability. This tactic is especially destructive because it preys on your compassion and empathy, the very qualities that make you human. When they sense they've lost their influence over you, they'll suddenly become fragile, broken, or in crisis. You'll see them fabricate or exaggerate emotional breakdowns, health scares, or financial disasters. They might reach out to you saying they're in trouble, that no one else understands, or that they have no one else to turn to. Dr. Ramani emphasized that this isn't coincidence. Narcissists keep mental records of your triggers. What makes you feel guilty? What appeals to your empathy? And what situations make you abandon your own boundaries? When they play the victim, they're deliberately activating these emotional switches. They weaponize your compassion against you, knowing that your instinct will be to help, comfort, or rescue them. What's most disturbing, according to Dr. Ramani's observations, is that narcissists often manufacture these crises themselves. They might sabotage their own job, start conflicts with others, or create chaos in their personal lives just to draw you back in. They don't just want your sympathy. They want to reassert control. By making you prioritize their pain over your peace, they prove to themselves that they still have emotional power over you. Dr. Ramani found that this manipulation often comes in subtle, emotionally loaded requests. I know you said you need space, but I really need you right now. Or, I know you're trying to focus on yourself, but could you help me this once? Every just this once is designed to chip away at your boundaries, to make you choose them over yourself. The narcissist's goal isn't simply to receive help, it's to make you sacrifice your self-respect in the process. The most dangerous aspect of this manipulation is that it feels authentic. Their pain might be real, but their timing and intention are not. Dr. Ramani explained that narcissists are experts at selecting which struggles to reveal and when. They'll hide their problems from everyone else but come to you because they know you're the one most likely to empathize and intervene. They use your goodness as a leash, pulling you back into the role of caretaker and emotional stabilizer. So how can you protect yourself from this final manipulation? Dr. Ramani teaches the concept of differentiated compassion. This means understanding that you can care about someone's pain without assuming responsibility for fixing it. It's the difference between empathy and enmeshment. When faced with a narcissist's manufactured crisis, you must pause and ask yourself, is helping them helping me become my authentic self, or am I abandoning myself to make them comfortable? Dr. Ramani often reminds people that true healing requires self-loyalty. You can't rescue someone who refuses to take responsibility for their own actions. The narcissist's desperation to regain control isn't proof of love, it's proof of dependency. When you refuse to bend, they experience that as rejection, but in reality, it's liberation. Every time you maintain your boundaries despite their attempts to manipulate you, you reclaim a piece of your freedom. Dr. Ramani's insight into narcissistic behavior reveals something profound. Narcissists fear your strength not because it threatens them physically, but because it exposes their own stagnation. Your growth reminds them of the self-awareness and authenticity they've abandoned. When you refuse to dim your light to make them feel safe, you force them to confront their own emptiness, and that's what terrifies them most. Yet their attempts to pull you back down are proof that you've outgrown their control. The narcissist's entire power structure collapses once you stop reacting, once you no longer need their approval or validation. The manipulation loses its hold the moment you see it clearly. Dr. Ramani often says that authentic strength isn't about being immune to manipulation. It's about awareness. It's about recognizing their tactics, naming them, and choosing to stay grounded in who you are. True power lies in your ability to respond with clarity, not emotion. Every time you refuse to fall for their manufactured crisis, every time you hold your boundary despite their guilt-tripping or tears, you reinforce your autonomy. You're not just surviving their manipulation, you're transcending it. Their desperate need to reclaim control is nothing more than evidence that you have already freed yourself. The narcissist's final dirty trick only works if you forget who you are. But once you recognize it for what it is, a last, frantic attempt to reassert dominance, you'll see that their manipulation is nothing compared to your authenticity. The very moment you stop being controllable is the moment you start living freely. And no crisis, no guilt, and no false vulnerability is worth surrendering that freedom ever again.